Now move in, now move out. Hands up, now hands down. Back up, back up. Tell me what you're going to do now. Welcome back to Direct Edition, a podcast about nothing and everything. Friends, thank you for being here on the 66th episode. That means we're only 3 away from 69. Nice. Today, we have a returning guest, a 3-time Direct Edition / West Coast Davengers world champion, the great Daniel Warren Johnson. Daniel stopped by to talk about his new art book coming out called The Art of Daniel Warren Johnson from Flesk Publications. The Kickstarter is live right now. So you're going to listen to him talk about it, and I implore you to go over to Kickstarter. You can find the link in the description below. Click it, back it, get the book because it's going to be awesome, and you're going to regret it. Honestly, you're going to regret it when you don't get it and everybody else has it and you're like, oh my God, I wish I had it. Me and Daniel chat for about 50 or so minutes. We catch up on his golf game and we dive into the process of this book getting created and why he's so excited for it. And we talk about his recent kind of great covers that have come out. Obviously the books that he's doing, Transformers and The Moon is Following Us, and soon to come his sci-fi epic, but he's been really lighting the comic book store shelves on fire with his cover for Absolute Batman and his Wolverine cover, which we talk a lot about. So it's always a pleasure, a real pleasure to talk to him. And he's, we talked before we went on a little bit off the record, and we were just talking about, he asked me how I was doing. And I kind of went into like how the podcast has been growing and the interviews have been growing. And, I shared with him, like one of my Grail guests is Trent Reznor. And, he's like, oh, I believe it'll happen one day. And he'd said something, I'd said something to him about, I never know if I'm like, I don't always get feedback from the guests, but the best feedback I get from guests is when they come back. Because why waste your time talking to a podcast host if you didn't enjoy it? It's not like, and I said something about that and he was like, yeah, he's like, I wouldn't be here if I didn't enjoy talking to you. And that's really to me what it's all about. I'm having these conversations and asking questions that I normally would. And the byproduct is it's recorded and you, my listener, the community, get to hear those conversations. Honestly, I would do it no matter what. I've had hour-long conversations with creators and people that I appreciate, not just friends, but people like artists that I appreciate. I've had it off record, not recorded. And, the fact that he's come back 3 times and, you've seen Chip Zdarsky a couple of times and Eric Larson a couple of times, that's all I need is returning guests to show me that I'm doing the right thing without even saying it. So anyway, I'm sorry that I'm going into the spiel. You're here to really listen to me talk to Daniel Warren Johnson. So without further ado, let's get to Daniel Warren Johnson, aka D-Dubs, aka DWJ. All right. Play the music. Hi, everybody. Friends, enemies, frenemies. Today's guest is a returning guest. This is my 3rd time talking to him. And now we can get to the real nitty-gritty questions. But let me just talk about his resume a little bit. Writer and also artist on Transformers, created books such as Extremity, Murder Falcon, Duo Powerbomb, The Moon is Following Us, a multiple Eisner Award winner, a good guy. And we're really going to find out. We're going to get down to the bottom. Is Daniel Warren Johnson going to retire from comics and join the PGA Tour? Well, let's find out right now. Dan, how are you?
I'm doing good. I haven't topped my driver in about 2 weeks. So I'll text you when I do that, and I won't be doing as well. But yeah, here I am, day by day. All those things you said are true.
Yes.
Especially
the PGA Tour. Well, last time I was convinced that you were going to tell me that how the moon was following me, and now I'm getting down to the bottom of your golf career. I don't care about your art. It's just about the extracurricular activities.
I mean, I'm taking it pretty seriously. You'd think I'd be a little better for how seriously I am indeed taking it. But yeah, it's one of those things. I don't like being bad at things, and
Hmm.
until I am relatively good at them for where I am in life, my age, and the fact that I have a family and a job that takes time, uh, I need to have like a certain level of competence with something for me to be able to enjoy it, and I'm not there yet. So I'm in the struggle bus, and that's why my mind is on it. I talk about it on my live streams, and nobody wants to hear about it, and I'm so sorry to the whole world. What can I say? A golf comic will be coming at some point.
Yes. Well, I mean, we're here to talk about the Kickstarter, the art of Danny Warren Johnson, but
What
when we
if it
talk,
wasn't art? If it was just me taking photos of my own golf swing?
I mean, look, there's golf manga out there, and we know you're a big student of the Japanese art form.
True.
So, if it was a mix and match, if it was, 3 pages of art and then like 4 pages of just photos of you golfing.
Oh, it's too bad it already went to print. Otherwise, I seriously would consider putting a photo of me golfing, like in the opening spread.
How about this? How about this?
Like that, I would actually do. We were joking before, but I would have actually done that.
Right. About Dan Warren Johnson is just you in like mid perfect swing. I'd be
Or
into
in
it.
my bio, like all the things I've worked on, Eisner Award-winning, scored a 39 on a par 9 on a 9-hole course one time, like one time.
Without this turning into a complete shit show of a golf podcast, I will say it was nice to see that you just, you posted photos from Torrey Pines when you were in Southern California for San Diego Comic-Con, and you were on Orcas Island, just about 2.5 hours north of me, like a couple weeks ago, hanging out in Washington golfing.
It's true. Torrey Pines was incredible. And I scored pretty well there for me. I got a 96, which is like really great. Um, and up on Orcas Island, there's like this little 9-hole course, which it's a little cow pastury, but it's run by it's run by a family, and it gets the job done.
Yeah.
And it did swallow 12 of my very nice Pro V1 golf balls. So, I went 4 times while I was on vacation up there, and
Wow.
I had some good rounds, had some bad rounds, but yeah, I kind of like golfing everywhere. I golf at my local municipal here in Chicago, and I've told a bunch of people this, but there is a homeless encampment outside of hole 2, and they will laugh at me if I hit the ball.
Critics everywhere, man. Doesn't matter. They're everywhere.
So true. There was one time I hit it out of bounds, and somebody ran over and said, "There's a ball over here," because it's like over a fence,
Right. Has any of them ever pulled the, hey, can I take you to Red Lobster? Or ask you if you could go to, if you would take them to Red Lobster, a la Happy Gilmore?
You know what? No, but it's so funny you mentioned Red Lobster, because there was a homeless person on a train that was asking for money one time, and all I had on me was a $25 gift certificate to Red Lobster. That actually happened. It was a long time ago, maybe 2012. But that did happen. And I was like, "I'm so sorry. This is all I have." And he looked at it and he just gave me a like, "What the F" look, and then walked. I was like, "Look, you don't have to have it." And he's like, No, I'll take it.
And folks, that's the end of the podcast.
There you go.
I'm out here.
Job done.
That really reminds me of possibly one of my favorite movie scenes of all time, Scary Movie, which obviously was a parody of Scream. And Anna Faris is walking to school the day after the first murders. Homeless person comes up to her and says, "Do you have $1?" And she takes a sandwich out of her bag. And she says, "Here you go." And she walks away, and he flings the sandwich at the back of her head and says, "I said I wanted $1, bitch."
Yeah, this is definitely the same energy, that I got. He's like, "What am I going to do with this Red Lobster gift card?" So what are you going to do?
You try and be kind. You try and be kind.
Amen.
All right. Well, now that we've completely gone as far away from art as possible, let's reel it back in. You've got a Kickstarter going on right now for this book that I know you're super excited about with John Flesk Publications, called The Art of Daniel Warren Johnson. first of all, congratulations, because this thing is off to a meteoric start. I mean, it's in orbit right now, and who knows if it's coming back down.
Thank you. Yeah, I am super excited about it, and I am blown away by the support. Of course, I'm just completely floored, or spaced, as you mentioned, in the stratosphere. I've been working on this book with John for like 4 years now, and for those of you, your listeners that don't know,
Mhm.
John Flesk, he does art of books, but mostly he does art of books of more painterly or like fantasy art kind of things.
Right, like Bernie
Um,
Wrightson.
Yep, and when he does work with, when he has done art books of comic artists, they've usually been more in the the classic realm, more old school. Um, and so, for him to work with me, it was a really big honor because as far as I know this, he told me this himself. He's like, I only work with artists that I'm a fan of their work.
Mhm.
And he saw my work through Felix Comic Art, who handed off some comics to John, and we met in 2021 in California, and we got to talking, and we really hit it off. And he said he wanted to do a book, and that was huge. But yeah, that was like 4 years ago, and since then, John very intentionally works specifically on only a handful of books at a time.
Right.
He does not jump around much, so. Part of that was me kind of getting put in a schedule where John felt like he could really give my book like the time it deserved, and also like we were just going back and forth on Zoom all the time, picking pieces, figuring out how we wanted the book to look, and kind of picking each other's brains as to like how we wanted the process to go. And
Mhm.
one thing that's cool about John is he's really involved in the design of the book. I did almost no design elements whatsoever.
Oh, cool.
I was basically just picking pieces that I wanted to go in. And that's one thing we started from the beginning. John said, I'm every book for me is very personal. I love being involved in the design very heavily. I hope that's okay. And I was like, go crazy, because I got crap I got to do. And I had seen his work before, and it's all been blowaway. So
Yeah.
I was happy to hand the reins over. And sure enough, looking at the PDF just a few months ago, it is incredible. He did a wonderful job. No surprise. I'm so excited about it. I'm so proud of it. It's so cool to have all of my like victory laps in one book.
Right. Right.
And a few struggles that at least the sweat is on the page for people to witness.
Sure. I mean, you do leave it all on the page, and we can watch you do that on your YouTube channel. So, in all, what's the time frame of this book? Like 2012 to now, or even do you go even further back? Are you going to like early stuff? Yeah,
we go even further back. The foreword is actually by my painting professor from college, Tim Lowley.
Oh, nice.
Who has a very unique perspective on kind of my growth as an artist and as a human from 2005 and on. That's when I started college. So I'm really happy that that's in there.
Mm-hmm.
I also have pieces that I worked on before I was ever published, maybe just out of college. There is my senior like art project that I put in there from college, which is a little embarrassing. But also like just, showing the growth and showing where I started and where I am now. So I can honestly say that the earliest piece in there is probably from 2009. Yeah, I think.
Wow.
No, sorry. 2008, because that's when I started my senior project.
Wow, so a little less than half your life is in that book.
That's true. There's not a ton of stuff from the early days, but there's a handful, and I'm still proud of that stuff, and it all kind of fuels what comes after. But we've kind of divvied it up into like a section for illustration, like album covers and things I did in college, commissions, which of course, I don't need to say any more about that. I've done a ton of those.
Yeah.
Highlighting like all of my comic projects and pieces and like work in progress parts of my comic work. Because since I was working on this book with John while I was doing so many titles, I was in the middle of Do a Powerbomb when we did a Do a Powerbomb 4-page breakdown of like thumbnails, pencils, and inks, which are all included in the book from
sweet.
issue 4, I believe, which is super fun. And I remember him talking to me, calling me and be like, "Can you please scan the pencils before you ink them at this, this DPI and with these settings, and scan the inks here in this way." And so every little thing is blocked out in the book from that section to Do a Powerbomb, which is really cool.
So we're getting process stuff for the process nerds. We're getting historical pieces from your past for those of us that enjoy seeing the evolution of the art. And we're getting never before seen stuff. Like one thing that you show off on your YouTube channel that's very personal to you is your sketchbooks and your travel. You just recently were in Japan and you did some more sketchbooks. So we're getting to see some of that too, which, I mean, that's the real insight into you.
Yeah. I don't really show my sketchbooks. Sometimes on my YouTube channel, I'll have like a really early days sketchbook tour when I have time to break them down, and those are from like 2005, 2006. But yeah, I don't really show a ton of my sketchbooks. And when I do show them now, it's kind of the cool pieces or the sexy parts of my sketchbook, which that's maybe 10% of each sketchbook is like a fully nice sketched out, inked and watercolored piece. And I brought over 30 of my sketchbooks to the Bay Area when I was working on a project with Felix, and John drove up from Santa Cruz, picked up the books, brought them back to his place, photographed them all, brought them back at the end of the same weekend. And I was like, I could scan them. And he's like, no, I like photographing your sketchbook. It's a better documentation process. He was very intentional about that. And so there are a ton of sketchbook pieces that kind of build up and are in addition to the comic book section and the illustration section. Sometimes like a comic spread here and then like a little sketch of that same thing, or me workshopping that in my sketchbook section, in my sketchbook that he took from the sketchbook section and put it right next to the comic page. Very intentional, very well laid out, super exciting. I can only imagine, like, if I was a fan of me, I'd be like, this is so cool.
Well, I mean, look, it's something that I've learned from doing what I do is like, if you're making something that you truly would enjoy watching or reading or whatever it is, then I completely understand that sentiment 100%. Like, you have to be your biggest fan. You do. You have to be your biggest critic too.
Yes. And I just, it's just really, it's cool to feel so good about something.
Yeah.
And to have a partner that feels as passionately about the work as I do, and to kind of build me up in that way, it's a great feeling. And it's also cool. Like John does amazing work, and he only does it for things he believes in. So to have that, it's just a nice boost. And even more of a boost to see how excited people are for the book. And as a thank you, actually, and just as to try and keep the momentum going. I don't know if you saw the update that we did to the Kickstarter. We're actually adding a zine called Line Time with Daniel Warren Johnson, which is a small 16-page zine, kind of like my ash cans that I've done in the past of Old Man Skywalker and Cherno, so on, Green Leader. And inside is going to be me drawing all of my art supplies that I use with commentary for each one and little examples on the opposite page of me actually using those tools. So I just finished the inks actually there. It's like, wow,
look
sorry.
At that. No, that's great. Oh, look at that. There you are.
Yeah.
Either the supplies are giant or this is how you feel when you're diving through your thing. You feel very small because you have so many things to play around with.
Honey, I Shrunk the Artist.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Classic. Yeah.
So think about it. Like, well, you're a book nerd. We're both book nerds, but I mean, like, I love art books, and if I bought all the ones that I really wanted, I could build a house out of art books. So I keep it to the ones that I need to have. But
of course,
in one book, you're hitting all the bullet points. You're satisfying the art nerds. You're satisfying the process nerds. You're satisfying the tool nerds. And when I say nerd, I mean that in a very loving, warm way.
Yes, very lovingly. The sickos.
Yeah. But
Our people.
Yeah, exactly. Like I'm not an artist, but I love hearing people talk about like the tools they use because it's fascinating to me, and I retain that information. And then when I start to see, like you and Mahfood talk about the same pen that you use for inking or something like that, I'm like, oh, I'm getting it more and more. And for kids or young adults or even older people that are looking to make comics, this is a great idea to throw that zine in to give people a little bit of that more insight so they can help themselves and figure it out.
It's cool because John was like, I really want to do a thank you or some sort of an additive thing that we can add to the book without it being too expensive. And I said, and he was thinking that it would be just more art pieces.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, that's totally cool. We could totally do that. But why not build the book up even more? And this isn't that much work. I can draw a micron in my sleep. Lord knows I've used them enough. And I like the idea of kind of reflecting on the tools that I use by, actually drawing them. It feels really like I'm appreciating this analog process even more, and then sharing it with people that I know are using the same tools or maybe thought about using those tools, or just like you said, you kind of, oh, you use that tool, and I know this artist uses this tool, but the line they make with that tool looks like this, and how does that make sense? And it's just another thing to get in the weeds about, which is really wonderful.
Yeah, it's for me, it gives me a bigger interest in the medium altogether, not just the artist, but the things that go into it. I mean, in this 3.5-4 year endeavor of me talking to creators, I've learned so much about creating comics as well as the history of comics that I don't think I would have ever figured it out or gained that knowledge any other way. I wanted to ask, so there's a specific commission, I'm assuming that's going to be in the book, and I'm going to show it off because you're going to laugh because you probably laugh every time somebody shows off this commission.
Yes, I do. I do like every once in a while. There'll be some commission that I do that like every 6 months it makes the rounds on Reddit. Oh my god, can you believe this? Look at those neck muscles, whatever.
Yeah.
And like I can't, like, everybody, there's like one person who I appreciate who's shouting, "This is Daniel Warren Johnson, credit the artist." And then under that, all these Redditors are like, "He must be a sicko. He must be disgusting." And I'm like, no, I just am like, how many times can you drop Batman? Believe it or not,
figure out a different way.
Believe it or not, West Coast Davengers listeners, this is not how I get off. Everybody like on the comments are like, "Oh man, this is what his bedroom life is." I'm like, no, it's not actually, but I can't. What am I going to respond to every Redditor? I was like, this tickles me, and I've been paying for it ever since. The same thing with I drew that commission of Sue Storm and Namor having sex on a octopus. That one.
Amazing.
I got a few angry emails from like just people who are fans of Reed Richards.
Oh, come on.
Being like, justice for Reed Richards. I'm like, oh, can you not appreciate art outside of your own feelings for this? Unfortunately, I hate to disappoint you. That piece is not in the Art of DWJ edition. Neither is the Namor. And, who knows? There might be a volume 2. And what I can guarantee you is I would love to have opposing spreads of each one.
Oh, that'd be amazing. That would be amazing. It kind of, well, you just answered it. Like, I didn't know about that Sue Storm and Namor one, but I was just kind of wondering, like, what's the craziest commission you've ever done that, and crazy, I mean, like, just the most out there. And I guess those two kind of really cover it.
I think so. I remember I don't usually get like a prompt from a commissioner or someone commissioning me. But this time it was with the Sue Storm one. It was like Namor and Sue Storm, and it said, "I'd love to highlight the romantic element between the two." And I just gave
You
it the
just went for it.
sauce. I went for it. I'm like, hey, this is what you asked for. Watch out what you ask for because you're going to get this. And then the poor Catwoman commissioner, he was like, just Catwoman, please.
Yeah, I remember you talk. I think you told a story about it. Or you mentioned it like one time on the YouTube channel, and I was like, I've never seen this before. But yeah, it is. It makes the rounds. I see it often.
It does tickle me every time. It's
Yeah, I mean, when I do a commission with somebody, recently I've gotten into doing Darth Jar Jar commissions, and
okay.
Hyler, Jeremy, did that one where he's eviscerating the Jedi Council, and all I told him was Darth Jar Jar, and he went with it. And Wayshak just did one at Heroes that's like, what if Ralph Steadman drew Jar Jar Binks? And I'd rather let the artist decide, because I'm paying you because I appreciate your art. I'm not paying you to be your director.
Right. And that's appreciated. That outlook, or that's appreciated.
Yeah, because if I wasn't a fan of your art, then I wouldn't have it. It doesn't make sense to me. It's like I'm not writing a script for you and asking you to be artist for my book. I'm saying, here's a character, have at it. And with that, I want to talk about like cover process. Are we going to see some of that in the book? Because we've all been fortunate enough, if we follow your YouTube channel, to see you do covers right there, like the Wolverine cover. You did that Wolverine cover live on stream.
It's true. We definitely are going to see a bunch of covers. That Wolverine cover is included. Mm-hmm. That's one of my favorite covers I've ever done, actually. I wish I could do those every day. I wish I had. That's a home run. It's a grand slam, that cover.
Yes. Lit the comic world on fire.
Yeah. And I'm like, how do I do that all the time? But so it's just that sometimes it happens. Sometimes all the pieces fall together compositionally and whatever. Oh, well. And another one of my favorites is I did a Batman animated series cover where Batman's working on the Batmobile.
I don't think I've ever seen that.
It's a sick one. The Batmobile, it's like the animated series Batmobile, but it's like kind of half apart.
Oh, wow.
Batman doesn't have his cape, but he still has his cowl on, and he's working on it. Which was a shout out to, when I had the animated series toy, and the cape would come off, and the cowl was part of the plastic. And I thought he looked cool that way, so I'd play with it. I didn't think the cloth cape looked that great.
No,
so I just ripped it off. Yeah, it didn't, right?
It didn't.
I wish so bad that I was a kid and they had like the skeletal structure of the capes now. Ugh.
Yeah, they use like almost what they do with the capes is kind of what Nolan did with the Batman cape in the movies. It's like it's got its own system to it. Speaking of the Batman covers, that's right where my finger is. That Absolute Batman cover you did this year, which is like shades of Jeff Darrow mixed with the Raid. And I'm just like, I've never seen such a great perspective on a cover that you put on that. That cover is amazing.
Thank you. I got to shout out Frank Miller on that one for just giving me some amazing advice to the entire Eisner crowd.
Wow.
He talked when he gave away Best Cover Artist or presented it, I should say. And he just said, it's got to be like a stamp. Does it read well as a stamp? And I was
That's a great piece of advice.
Oh my gosh, I took that to the bank. Can't tell you how much that changed my cover game. Just that one sentence. Really, it's just like this drawing thought that really clicked. And I was thinking exactly of that when I drew that cover and the Wolverine cover.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Well, you knocked him out of the park. I mean, it's almost unfair from the perspective of somebody that goes to the comic store every week of like, why can't everybody get on that level at some way, shape, or form? I mean, like, I think right now when we're talking about modern comics, it's like you and it's Dan Mora. There's Hayden Sherman. There's some great artists emerging doing some iconic looking imagery, because at the end of the day, we got to get people to pick up those books, and a cover is supposed to sell the book.
I agree. And I do think it takes just a little bit of it's easy for me to say, but I think it's not that hard Like it's I tell this to up and coming comic artists that show me their portfolios, you know. I'll see the designs of their characters and I'm like, it doesn't take a lot. Like to go from boilerplate to like life changing.
Yeah.
You just have to push a little more than you're used to, and you'll really amaze yourself what can happen. So, it's like you do what's accepted, like a cover composition, you know, character standing, heroically looking, and then push it a little farther. Make yourself a little uncomfortable and see if you can figure it out. I'm working on an Age of Apocalypse cover now that's just kicking my butt, and I'm in that push phase. Like it's not always this difficult, but you know, it's really tough. I wish it wasn't hard sometimes, but sometimes it is.
It was one of the things I was going to ask you because, you know, like your storytelling, I think storytelling is such a tricky thing because it's more personal, and it should be. I think it should be more personal. But your cover work is a different story because you're right. You have to, if you're doing a cover for somebody else, you have to figure out how to get that book off the shelf. And is there, how much, like with the Wolverine, because I think that one is just so striking. How long did you spend just figuring out composition and what you wanted to do? Having him just stuck with arrows and like it's simplistic, but not at all.
Sure. Well, the shapes are simplistic, and it's the detail that I feel carries it over into that special category. But as far as like figuring out what I wanted the cover to be, I remember doing one sketch and being like, "Yep, that's it." I wish I could say it was like something I sweat over, but it's just not. And sometimes, honestly, if I sweat over something too much, it means that it's not the right choice.
Right.
It should be easy to get the shapes down, and then the detail is like the hard part. So yeah, I literally did one version of the cover. Like I did one. That's it.
When it comes to you, it comes to you. Like you said, it's just, I mean, like I said, I mean, I feel like we as fans of yours and, you know, people that look at your work, we get to cheat a little bit because we see you usually on a weekly basis doing some of it, struggling or not struggling. And I remember watching that Wolverine cover and I was like, oh, what is this for? And then like a couple people in the chat said it was for this issue. And I was just, but then there have been other days where we watch you and you're just like, I hate this. And you toss it. You literally toss it.
Yeah,
you know,
that's true. I remember, especially when I was working on that cover episode. I want to tell the listeners what episode it is, if you don't mind me looking this up really fast.
Yeah, and I'll be happy to link it in the description.
That's it. 163.
163. Okay, so you can check out his his YouTube channel, but I will link it in the description across the board, so everybody can just click on it and gloriously watch this cover get created.
And it's cool because the detail obviously is the part of the cover that takes the most time, but it's also the part of the cover or the image or the comic book page or the panel that takes the least amount of brain power. Because all the work has been done. I know all the train tracks have been laid down, and all I have to do is screw the nails in. It's that's a really good feeling, and it's actually quite relaxing and quite zen. And in today's day and age, I'll take that any day I can.
Oh yeah. Any chance we can get to just be with ourselves, one with ourselves, is a chance to just grab at. You know, we could easily sit here and talk about the state of things, but I think neither of us. You're like me. You're an empath. You feel it too much. We don't need to go into it too much.
I'm sure the people listening also feel it.
Yeah.
Hang in there, people.
That's the one thing I think a lot of people enjoy. I don't really censor my thoughts and feelings about what's going on in my life or in the world in general. It gives people a little bit, at least, you know, we all need to relate. That's the word. Speaking of that cover, I just saw you and it looked like Cho was doing it himself, but David Cho during San Diego did a really cool remark all over it. And was that a combined thing? Did you draw on it first and then he drew on it?
I did. Sometimes when I do remarks on the Wolverine cover, for collectors or people that want to remark, I'll do a Oni mask over Wolverine's face. But that requires me to white out the black space first. But the whiteout that I use, it just takes a few minutes to dry. So I remember I did one, and I forgot to grab it after it dried. And I'm pretty sure Felix handed it to David and just be like, "Hey, you want to riff on this?" And so it's supposed to be an Oni mask, and of course he went nuts.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, that's.
I remember seeing it on
style.
his hotel room table, and being like, "This is really cool."
Also, congratulations to that whole issue selling the original art. Felix, you know, found a buyer. I tried to guess he wouldn't give it up, but you know. Wasn't me. Definitely wasn't me. And do you know if there's going to be anything like if you're at $160,000 on this Kickstarter right now, or 161? Yeah. Is there anything planned that if it goes a little bit higher, like any more surprises besides the line time?
I don't think so. I think the line time was just kind of this thing, kind of like a thank you. Because we did not really have any plans for anything extra, because I think we just believe in the single product so much. This is what you're getting. What you see is what you get, and yeah, I just hope as many people get on board as possible, because I'm so proud of this thing.
I mean, I can speak at least to the people that I talk to on a regular basis in my community. I mean, I already backed the book, but there's a lot of people that may not know about the book that will definitely be backing it in the next 2 weeks as we talk about it. I mean, it's, you know, I joke with comic store owners and people. I call you the savior of comics. But there really is something to be said about the last 10 years of your output and what it's turned people on to. I mean, there's a lot of people that are looking at your work and then looking at something like James Harren's work, or they're exploring manga a little bit, or vice versa. They saw James and now they're looking at your work. I mean, the just every week that there's something coming out with yours, people are buying it and people are excited about it. Myself, obviously included. So,
that makes me so happy. Thanks for telling me that. It's really cool to hear. I'm blown away.
The stores love you. I mean, now or never. You were just did a great event with them during San Diego Comic-Con with the comic. Was it the Comic Book Couples Podcast? Is that the order?
Comic book. They call themselves the Comic Book Couples Counseling Podcast.
Counseling, right? Yeah, right. And
it went great.
It looked awesome.
It was really fun. Awesome. Zach, one of the guys over at Now or Never, has been trying to get me to come out there for the longest time, and he's like, "Look, I mean, maybe you could stay late for San Diego one time, or come early." And when they talked about the Tuesday before San Diego Comic-Con, at first I was like, "Oh, geez, I don't know," because I don't want to leave my family. But it's literally like one day before.
Sure.
I was like, "It's time." Like. This poor guy has been trying for like 4 friggin' years to get me out there. And to know that, Brad and Lisa from Comic Book Couples Counseling was going to be there too, it just felt like the perfect opportunity.
Zach's a good dude, and Aaron, who owns the store, is a great guy. We've been friends for a couple years now, and I've had him on the channel to do a retailer roundtable. So, there's it's an ecosystem that creators can definitely help just by being there. So when you get bribed to come to Comics Place up in Bellingham next time you're on Orcas Island, I'm going to be there hosting something live.
Okay. Yeah, book it. Let's do it. That's not the last time I'm going to be in. I'm going to be in Washington. We should do it. That'd be awesome.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'll get it down there. Any word before we get going? Anything moving forward with your sci-fi project that you are hard at work on? Do we have a timeline of maybe a release?
Sometime next year, I think I can confidently say, for a release, not just an announcement.
Cool.
Stay tuned. It's coming. I'm working on it. I'm pumped, and I think it will be worth the wait.
from what I've seen, and I've seen plenty of the art on stream, it looks crazy. It looks amazing. And the color work you're doing is you showing how much you love Richard Corbin right on the page.
Amen. That's so true.
Yeah. Yeah. I love
and my
to
explorations
see it.
with airbrush. So.
Yes. So
more is more, as Malmsteen once said.
Well, before we get going, we've got the Kickstarter, which wraps up in about, when this airs, it'll still be 11 days from wrapping up. All the links will be down below.
Awesome.
Your YouTube page will be linked down below, the episode we referenced. Anything else to talk about? I know you got the cover that you just got announced for Deadpool Batman.
And then Deadpool versus somebody. A big Barda thing. Doing some DC KO covers.
Right.
Which is fun. The DC universe in like a tournament for the fate of the universe, which I don't think would happen without Do a Power Bomb. I think that's fair to say.
Yeah, I think your influence on that.
I'll flex a little. Yeah, I'm happy it's happening, and I'm happy I'm doing covers. But also, the truth is the truth. I hope that doesn't come off as haughty. Oh well. And then I am doing a Absolute Batman annual.
Right.
30 pages. That's happening. I think it comes out in October.
Yeah.
I'm drawing it now. It's all written. That was a beast to write. I'm trying to do justice to the Absolute Batman
you wrote
universe. I wrote it, writing and drawing. Yep.
Nice.
James Herron, I think, has 8 pages in there too.
Ooh.
Which is super exciting. So me and James on Absolute Batman. Oh, yes, please.
Yep.
I can't wait to see his cover. I'm sure it's going to be bananas. Yeah, so that's an honor to be included with him, and an honor to honestly to just be doing like Absolute Batman. It's so hot right now, and I don't know. At first, when they asked me to do Absolute Batman, I was a little bit like, I don't want to get in anybody's hair. But then I got this really great idea after the inauguration.
Oh, hell yeah.
I was just feeling really angsty and upset about it, and I'm just channeling that through Absolute Batman, so yeah.
Well, I hope Absolute Batman gets to punch at least several politicians in the face. But great. Well, look, Dan, it's always a pleasure. Once again, I will have all the links in the description, all that stuff for the Kickstarter. I'll be talking about it a lot over the next couple of weeks as it is. Always appreciative of your time. And, I know I got to let you get back to your family and also back to the green, the 9 or the 18 or whatever holes you're playing. But thanks. Always a pleasure, Dan.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me on. It's always a pleasure. I can't wait to be back.
Thanks for listening to that interview with Dan. It's always a pleasure to have him on the program. Thank you to Rachel, also his wife, for helping put that together. So the Kickstarter is still got, I think, around a week to go as you're hearing this. You're going to find the link in the description below. I backed the top tier with the book. I didn't go for the prints, but now everybody's getting the line time zine. So you really can't go wrong with this. And as you heard him talk about, like, he poured so much into this with Flesk, all of this art that he's had, stuff he's created, 18 years ago or so, but he did a lot of narration. So there's a ton of director's commentary, if you want to call it, in this book. I'm super excited. Dan has never led me astray, not personally, but as a artist and a creator, to something that I bought that I was like, oh, I don't like this. He is a fantastic, fantastic creator. So going through his resume, if you've never read, what I read first was Do a Powerbomb because I'm a wrestling fan, and it is his love letter to wrestling. It is an amazing book. But if you're a metalhead or you just like music in general, there's Murder Falcon, which has so much heart in that story. Extremity, like a Mad Max type epic. His Wonder Woman, Dead Earth is probably my favorite thing that he's ever done, actually, that's at least in the realm of properties that are known. Transformers, Beta Ray Bill, the list goes on and on, but check out his work, because I think once you get into one book, you're really just going to dive into his entire bibliography. For me, I just want to say thanks to my listeners, new and old. We're almost at 500 subscribers on the YouTube channel for this, and I'm going to do that giveaway for the Spider-Man McFarlane statue once I hit it. But just want to say that this has been a journey, and it's not easy. I'm not making any money from this podcast. If anything, I'm losing money on this podcast. So I am doing this out of pure love for what I do and bringing it to other people. So if you want to help, you can rate this podcast on Spotify or Apple. You can drop a review on Spotify or Apple, or just on Apple. You can like this on YouTube, drop a comment, do whatever you can to just boost it in the algorithm and get more people to see it. And if they like listening to my nasally New York Jewish voice, they're in for life, or at least somebody's life. Anyway, this has been Direct Edition. Thank you again to the listener. Thank you again to DWJ. Dave out.